There was very little in this year's budget of direct relevance to financial planners. But in this video I'd like to talk about one of the things that was of direct relevance to the financial planning process, and that's the Patient Capital Review. It was instigated a few months back, a good number of months back actually, to look at ways of ensuring that money flows more readily and freely into risk-based businesses, businesses that are going to grow, knowledge-based businesses, and that it flows in a way that's a lot better than it does currently. The US is apparently an environment where money into those kind of businesses flows a lot easier. The government, as a result of the Patient Capital Review, have instigated a number of initiatives, but those that are most relevant to the financial services sector, at least that's what I believe you'll think, are those directly related to EIS, VCT, CDIS arrangements. The government have clearly recognised for a number of years that if there's tax relief and tax incentive to an investment arrangement, then people are more likely to do it and accept the risk, and that will be a lever to encourage money to flow in the right way, using tax as an incentiviser to change behaviour. What they've discovered though is that over time, in their view, too many of the VCT EISs that are around are too focused on capital preservation. So there'll be two changes that are being recommended here that will be instigated. One will be that there'll be a new incentive to invest. So we're doubling the amount that can be invested into an EIS from 1 million to 2 million, provided the extra 1 million gets invested in knowledge-intensive businesses. And then there'll be, and the definition of that will come through shortly. We haven't got them at the time of recording this video. And then there'll be a limitation on the relief that will be given to businesses focused predominantly on capital preservation. So the government think that isn't what we're trying to encourage. So carrot and stick, the carrot of more available to invest, more tax relief available, the same amount of tax relief, but more that can be invested in knowledge-intensive businesses, and a restriction on investment in businesses that are focused on capital preservation. As I said, definitions not yet available. There's also the increase from 5 million to 10 million pounds for VCT and EIS of the amount that can be invested in those businesses throughout a complete year. So looking at those changes, that should have an impact, and hopefully the government are just looking to see that money flows through, and we'll see how that works. So I think the sector generally is quite relieved that there weren't more radical changes, and it will be a watch this space and watch the TechLink bulletins for more information on those new definitions so we know exactly where we stand. Also in the Patient Capital Review, I mean, there was an awful lot talked about, predominantly about how to get funds flowing better. Two other things of relevance to the financial planning sector out of that review. One, the discussion around what could be done to potentially release pension funds to invest in those knowledge-intensive businesses. And talk was there of an increase in the lifetime allowance or the annual allowance to encourage people to invest more. So, okay, you're caught by those allowances, but if we raised them, provided the money that could be invested as a result of that raise flowed into the right type of businesses, then that's a good thing. That's just a discussion point, no firm proposals made. And the other thing was a note that there will be an eye kept on business relief, business property relief arrangements to ensure that they aren't too overly focused on capital preservation. But other than that, nothing detrimental in any way about the reliefs that are given by BPR investments. And of course, just a general reaffirmation that encouraging people to invest in those type of businesses is a good thing, and there's no indication that there's any kind of plan to remove or tamper with the general scheme of business property relief. As I said, we will be tracking these more closely. We've got not that much in the budget aside from the responses to the Patient Capital Review to go on, but we'll be keeping an eye on it, and you should be keeping an eye on the bulletins.